Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Misty at Skeeterjones and this is this week's 10 things. This week I have for you something you won't find anywhere else because it is one of a kind handmade ceramics that I made. And I got the idea because tonight is a ceramic studio night and I'll be headed out there shortly. That's why I look so kind of plain with my hair tied up, because I was getting ready to go to the studio and thought, you know, this week's 10 things is going to be some of my pottery work. So, because I only have an hour before I have to leave for the studio, I'm going to film this kind of quick. Number one is this little, I don't know what you would call it, a jug maybe. I have different signatures depending on where I was in my ceramics journey when I made the piece. This is kind of midway through, and that's my signature, just my initial and the year that I made it. So this was made 2 years ago, and it's the color showing up very true on the screen. It just has these handles, and you can use this as a vase or whatever. The pricing for all of these pieces will be on the screen. And just keep in mind that for the bigger, heavier pieces, shipping will be a little higher just because of the weight. If you can just give me just a little description and maybe tell me what number the item was, then for anything you're interested in, then I will be able to find it for you. And this is item one. Item number two is this little urn, I suppose. It actually was a little bit of a fail with regard to the glaze. It did something it wasn't supposed to do, which means, you know, it ran in places like that. But I ended up really liking the look of it once it came out of the kiln. Even though the glaze did stuff it wasn't supposed to do, I liked what it did. So this is green, and yeah, it looks very, yeah, that color is true. It's just different shades of green, and here is what it looks like. There's a sticker on it. Here's what it looks like on the inside, and the size is about, I guess you need to see that, it's about 4 inches tall, about, and about 4.5 inches or 4¼ inch across. And this is item number two. Number three is one that I really liked. It's one of the first successful bowls that I was able to throw on the pottery wheel, and I really liked how the glaze came out. This is I think winter wood, for anyone who's familiar with ceramics and pottery. This is I think either Amico or Mako winter wood, and I cannot remember the name of this one here, but it's two different glazes made to complement one another. It's sort of a little bit of a cone-shaped bowl, and the measurements on it is about 7.5 inches across and about around 3 inches high, a little bit more than 3 inches high, I think. There you go. I can't see it very clearly, but you can hopefully. But this is item number three. Number four, some of my friends at the studio called this Stormy Night because of the colors, and that is showing up very true on the screen. It's these shades of gray, this bluish, grayish, slate. It just came up in so many different colors out of the kiln. And that's one thing when you put ceramics into the kiln after you have after you've glazed them. Number one, the glaze is nowhere near the same color when you paint it on. Usually, some of them are, but it's usually nowhere near the color that it's going to end up being after firing. And you don't know how the different types of glaze are going to interact with each other. So it's really a fun surprise when you open up the kiln. But here you have this kind of slate blue, and then some black, and then this sort of bluish slate on the inside, and then more of this same that's here is what's on the outside. And it has this detail in it that I did all of that by hand. I carved that out before I fired it for the first time. If you are unfamiliar with how you do ceramics, you actually create your piece and then you put the, it's called greenware. Once it dries and gets what's called bone dry, it's called greenware, and you put that into the kiln first with no glaze so that it will be hardened. It's very brittle until you give it that first firing. And then when it comes out from that first firing, that's when you put the glaze on and then fire it again. So this one is about 3 inches high. This is probably a better way to do that. About 3 inches high. And it is about 8 inches across. And this is one of my favorites because I just really love the colors and how they work together in this one. And this is my newer signature here. Where is it? Can you see that? There's not the date on it, but that's my newer signature there. But this is item number 4. Number 5 I like because of these beautiful, vibrant colors. This is just shades of blue, and I like the little pattern that made as it fired in the kiln. And a lot of times you can try your best to repeat, and you'll come up dry, which is the case with this. I wanted to make some more of these, and I could not make, even using the same glazes at the same temperature, I was not able to completely repeat that pattern. So this is truly one of a kind. Things that can affect how the glaze reacts in the kiln are things like, obviously, the temperature of the kiln, where it is in the kiln, and sometimes even what else is in the kiln with it. But this one is about 4 inches across and about, a little bit more than 2 inches high. So this one is item number 5. This beautiful little vibrant blue bowl. That kind of reminds me of the beach. Number 6 is another one that has a carved detail, and that happens, there are stages when you're making ceramics. First, you make your piece, and before you dry it at all, you have to set it up actually to dry slowly, and it reaches a point where it's still a little bit malleable, but not bone dry, and that's called leather dry or leather hard. And when it reaches that stage, that's when, if you want to carve designs into it, that's when you do that. So I did that there. I carved these little swooshes, a band around here and around here, and then I carved out a little around right there. And this was not carved out. This is just what, this naturally occurred in the wheel throwing process. And again, this is 2 different glazes. This one is a little bit more matte or satin and has this sort of mottled finish to it. And this one is sort of a blackish, but not really black. It's kind of hard to describe that color. But this clay was very what you call groggy, which means it has a lot of sand and stuff in it. So you can feel that across the bottom here. If you get this bowl, you'll need to sit something underneath it, like sit it on a doily or a pad of some kind, so that it wouldn't scratch up your surface. But the bowl itself, this is just one of my favorites. And the measurements on it are, I guess, around 3 inches high and about 9 inches across. And this is item number 6. Number 7 is one that I just made this past spring. There's my signature and the 2024 on that. And I just like the blue, these little specks of brown in it, this robin's egg kind of color, and then this design that I put in there before glazing. And there's really not a whole lot to say about it. It's just a decorative bowl. course, I mean, all of these are useful too. These are all food safe and these are all dishwasher safe and oven safe up to, I think, 400 degrees. But if you are interested in getting any of these and you want to know specifically if they are oven safe, make sure you ask me that, and then I'll check and make sure, and I'll give you all of that information when you order. That looks, I didn't intend for that to look like a dogwood flower, but it ended up looking like one. So this is, again, most of these are around 3 inches high, and then it is about 8.5 inches across. And there it is. The color isn't exactly true on the screen. It is very much like a robin's egg blue. I'll try to take a picture and put it up here so that you'll get a better idea of what the color actually looks like. This is item number 7. Number 8 is a little set that I made, and it's more appropriate really for spring, I would suppose, but you can use it anytime. It is a berry bowl. It actually says berries right there in the bottom. I hand molded each one of these little strawberries around the top, and then you put your strawberries in, and you can rinse your strawberries, and then of course you don't want water dripping out everywhere, so there is the matching dish that goes underneath. So this is the strawberry set, I guess is what you would call that. But I did hand mold. I made the bowl, and then I handmade each one of these little strawberries, and then attached them to the bowl, and then put the little strainer holes in there, and then made the plate. And then these were glazed in an opal white. And I think the color underneath that is called oatmeal. And this was made in 2021, actually. Right there it is. And this is item number 8. Number 9 is another set. I can't pick all of the pieces up at the same time, so I will pick them up one at a time. But first, I will show you the creamer, the little creamer. I cannot recall the name of this darker color. This is oatmeal. This is the same color that's on the strawberry set, except that the strawberry set also had an opalescent white over it. This is just the color oatmeal. And again, I do not recall the name of this color. And it's showing up pretty true on the screen. It just has all these earthy tones in it. I made this in 2022. And this is the creamer that goes with the set. It is 3 inches high, about 3.5 inches across. Next in the set is the mug, and I would like to tell you that there are 2 of these, but there is only 1 mug. I had 2, but one of them broke, so there is just the 1 mug. And again, it's the same colors here and here, and they were all made at the same time. It has this little foot on it, and the if you saw that red, that was just, I don't know what that was, but it's gone now. It's about 4 inches high, about 4 inches across. The mug that goes with the creamer. In the last part of this set, there are 2 little bowls that are just right for serving up some oatmeal, I guess. Or if you're the only one having breakfast at your house, then you have 1 cup, 1 creamer. You could use one of these for sugar and 1 for your oatmeal or your scrambled eggs. So these do not look identical, which a lot of times when you're talking about handmade ceramics, it's going to be really difficult to find 2 pieces identical. That's part of the beauty of handmade things. But these bowls are about 3.5 inches high, about 4 inches across. There are 2 of them, and they are the exact same color scheme as the creamer and the mug. And they were all made at the same time. These are heavy. If you put some oatmeal in here, it will keep your oatmeal hot for a while. The cup is pretty heavy as well, meaning that it has a lot of insulating capacity to keep your coffee nice and hot, or your tea. And I will pop in a picture of the whole set together right here so you can see all the pieces together at one time. And that is item number, and that set is item number 9. Number 10 is this cute little dish, and I molded this. I had a little my pottery instructor actually had a little wooden block with this design carved in it, and I molded this around the end of the block to make this little, I guess, little trinket dish. This flower design. It's only about an inch or a half inch high, just under an inch high, and it is about 4 inches-ish across. And it's that same opalescent white that was over the oatmeal color on the strawberry dish. And then it has my stamp on it right there. And actually, this reminds me, I had the sterling silver on a tray that I made, and I said that I would show that tray at the end of the video, and then I forgot to show it. And it's made very similar to this. Actually, I think I made them on the same day. I just dumped out all the sterling so I could show you. Because right here, when you see this, you can tell that I used the same block to stamp this design that I used to mold this dish. So this actually could be a set if you wanted to, because I glazed it the same color. And again, it was made at the same time. So we'll just make that a set if someone wants to, or I'll price them separately if you're interested in one or the other of these. So depending on whether this is a set or they're individual, I maybe actually had 11 items this time. So thank you so much for joining me, and if I was a little rushed, it's just because I have to get out the door to the studio. So I appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me before I dash out the door. But if you enjoyed this content, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with someone else who you think might also enjoy it, and leave me a comment. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!